Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got the team behind Hazard. I've got director Eddie Mensore and actor Dave Davis. So welcome to you both.
Thank you very much.
We were talking off camera. We were supposed to do this one in person, and we had a little bit of weather. A little snow.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm speaking to you from New Orleans right now. I wish I was up there in the snow with y'all.
Was that where the layover was, or were you not able to get out at all?
I was gonna end up getting stuck in Atlanta, so I just stayed home. We're gonna figure it out.
I've been stuck in Atlanta many times. I don't advise it. The airport hotel is not the best. Not the best. It's frustrating because we out of Charleston, we don't have any direct flights, so it's always going to a hub, a hub or something. So we're Atlanta, Chicago, Charlotte. We can't get anywhere directly.
Right.
Okay. I went to New York in the summer, and I had to go down to Atlanta and then to New York, which should be just a straight shot.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's like that too anymore. It's tough to get direct flights even into Pittsburgh.
I know. I don't get it, but that's fine. That's fine. If they want to isolate us, we'll just hang out here in the mountains, I guess. Okay, let's start this way, gentlemen. Eddie, I want to start with you because it's rare when we get to talk to someone from West Virginia. We've had several, but it's rare. So I like to celebrate that a little bit. So give me a little bit of your background. How'd you get into the entertainment business? What led you to making Hazard?
That's a lot of question. Back when how I got into filmmaking in general. I was in college and not studying film. We didn't have film at West Virginia University, but I took an advertising class, and my advertising professor told me that I'm not writing ads, I'm writing short films. And he led me to like a 6-week film immersive whatever.
Yeah.
And I did it and I loved it. And that's how I got into filmmaking, being from West Virginia. Back in the day, our only outlet for creativity was literally, I used to live in Charleston, and I'd read poetry at Taylor Books.
Oh, yeah.
So like that was the outlet right there for like creativity. So that's the history. And then Hazard is, I went to West Virginia University, and my best friend from there, his brother, their family was from Hazard, and his brother got addicted to drugs. And the story's not about him, but I had the story, and I had the opportunity to go to Hazard, Kentucky, and hang out with him and some of his people and do some research.
Yeah.
And that is where the story originally came from. And the story is not about Hazard, Kentucky, Perry County, but I did lift the name and kept it.
Yeah, I love that. It makes for a good name, I think. And we've had, especially in this area, West Virginia, Kentucky, a little bit of Ohio, we've had such a hard time with the opioid crisis, and it kind of came to a head there a few years back. To some of the negative side effects of just trying to get a handle on the problem.
is, before, if you had an issue and you went to the doctor and they might give you pain medicine for it. You can't get that anymore. They're very careful about how they get, and they probably should be, but I'm sure that it's keeping, some people without pain meds that they probably in the past would have just given to, which is probably what caused part of the problem.
Yeah, it's quite sad. Like whenever the government actually does crack down and they start taking it away, you've just addicted a generation of people.
Yeah. And then it's just gone, which, at this point, I'm not sure what else you do because you have to get a handle on it. But yeah, such a difficult subject. And we've had a few, movies, TV shows that have come out. I know Dope Sick came out there a few years back. But we've never had somebody that's kind of lived in the area with the issue make a movie. So just thrilled to death that you're bringing some needed spotlight onto it.
I appreciate it. And what we tried to do different than any of those series is like those are more about the pharmaceutical companies and the people who took advantage of it. Like us as Appalachians, we don't see any of that. We don't know what that is. So this story is coming from the point of view of the local community, like the addict, the police officer who's trying to do something, but nobody knows where it's coming from. So like we try to be faithful to what does people in Appalachia see in front of their eyes, just not read about in a newspaper.
Yeah, I love that angle because to me, that's what's going to drive it home.
Yep.
It's one thing you worry a little bit about a company. It's a little different when you can see actual people going through the issue because you can relate to that.
Yeah, you can certainly have compassion.
That's right. That's exactly right. Davey, I'm a big fan of yours. Loved it when you showed up on Renfield and the Rookie. We're big Nathan Fillion fans, so
loved him. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Of course, True Detective. It's you've been on a bunch of them that we watch. Even back several years ago, you were on a couple episodes of Lucifer.
Yep.
Yeah. So, how did you become attached to this project?
Well, I auditioned for it. I read the script. I thought it was phenomenal. I mean, Eddie is a hell of a writer, and when Eddie reached out to me, he's an easy guy to fall in love with, and it's the kind of project that I like to do and that I look for. That feels important. That feels like it could really mean something to the community that it represents. So not only do I get to dig into a character and a people and a place that I prior to didn't really know that well, I get to feel like I'm doing honor to it and coming to it from a place of respect and compassion and joy and telling a story of American people and on top of that, such an important story because drug addiction touches everyone in this country, and myself included. So it's just the kind of film you want to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree with that. I got the link last night, so my wife and I that's our afternoon viewing. So I've seen the preview, but I haven't seen the whole movie yet. But it looks amazing, and congratulations, Eddie, on the cast because that's a solid cast. That's a really good cast.
Yeah, everybody did wonderful.
Yeah, it's really strong, and I know Alex Roe was going to be on with us, and he couldn't even get out of L.A., so he may pop in at some points. But he's a really good actor. Davey, you're such a strong actor. It's a really good cast. I thought that's what you need when you have a good script. If you got the right people in the movie, then you can have something really special. And I think you may have that here. So I'll give you my review after I watch it this afternoon. But I'm excited to see it because it looks really good.
To your point, Alex is really wonderful. He really set a great tone. As number one on the call sheet, I don't necessarily think of myself as a method actor, but in my rehearsal process, that's sort of how I approach it. But showing up to Kentucky, and Alex was deep in character and had been there studying already for a while and meeting people, and immersing himself in the community. It was really easy to show up and jump into it and just feel a lot of pride in the project and in the characters. So to your point, Alex is really wonderful, and it was such a great cast to work with.
It's not super easy being number one on the call sheet. There's a little bit of, I mean, there's the pressure of having to do the role, but you also kind of have that responsibility of setting the tone. You know, you're kind of the set leader, so to speak. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I think you have to have the right person, or it throws the chemistry off. You know, and as just as a fan, as an audience member, we know when something's not right. We may not know what it is, but you can tell when something's not quite right between the actors.
Oh no, we all gelled. I bought a banjo while I was there. We were staying up late, playing music, singing songs. It was great. Hanging out with the Bears of Benham.
Can you play a banjo?
I can now.
Okay. My wife has her grandmother's banjo, and she, like my stepson, he can pick it up and play it no problem. But she figured out pretty quick it just tears her hands up. She couldn't do it. She switched to a mandolin.
Okay. No, I love it. I had been wanting one for a long time. So one of my things I like to do is when I travel for work, I try to come home with a musical instrument usually. That's my little treat to myself.
Yeah, I love that. Did you do were you in a band in high school?
No, I was in a band after college, a comedy group called the Barehanded Bear Handlers. It's a duo, me and my buddy. But no, I really didn't pick up music until later in life. I taught myself piano and guitar and started writing songs. And then I've just over time learned to fall in love with various instruments, and I have an accordion that I love. Got the banjo now.
Seems like a tough instrument to learn.
There's definitely a learning curve with the accordion.
So the Barehanded Bear Brothers.
I like that. The Barehanded Bear Handlers.
Could they be brothers?
We might as well be, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm guessing that you're bear handlers.
It's honestly just a funny turn of phrase from an early song before we were actually a band. Yeah. And I said, that's the name. And people said, that can't be the name. It's too long and complicated. And I said, it's great. That's the name. It's done. That's it.
I love, that's an amazing name.
Thank you.
Eddie, when you were kind of looking for a location for the film, you know, what made Hazard the starting point? You know, what kind of sold you as that might be the location? Was it the people, or is it more the location?
So we filmed actually in Harlan County, which is about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Hazard, I believe.
Yeah.
It's because our executive producer's family was originally from Harlan, and so he has a couple businesses there. And
makes it a little easier if you got a base.
Yeah, we had a base. Like we could walk in and like at least somebody could hand us off to somebody there. And you know how it is in Appalachia, very weary of outsiders. So you gotta like, I started going there in January of 2022 and we filmed in July. And it took me January probably through March for the community to accept me enough where I could actually start to make a film there. So it took months of letting people know who you are.
I'm guessing though, by the time you left, they didn't want you to go.
I mean, if these guys can actually fly in on Wednesday, we're having a big it's the premiere of the movie at the Benham Inn where we stayed at in Harlan County. We got a big food buffet and we're doing the whole works. So it's going to be nice.
I really can't wait. I really hope I get there because I'm so excited for it.
Have you got to do red carpets before, Dave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. I mean, just watching them is kind of amazing. But yeah, I can't imagine actually getting to get out, because I'm assuming you're bringing them in, nice vehicle, dropping them off. That just the whole thing.
This is go on, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, take it.
I just said this is. I don't know if we're gonna have a red carpet. Yeah, but we will. But it will be a great community screening. I don't know.
Might be a snow carpet.
I don't know if paparazzi is going to show up to the Minutemen. I think
I'm just hoping a couple bears show up.
Bears will certainly show up. Dave's first thing to me whenever he arrived, if you remember, Dave, Screen Actors Guild is the actors union, SAG, and like the first thing he said is, "Well, SAG's not going to find you out here."
How long a drive is it from Charleston to there?
I think it's 3.5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was thinking 3 or 4 hours. So that's not
no, it's not horrible. I mean, weather permitting.
That's right. That's right. Well, and I think you're doing a little screening at the Alban maybe later in the month. Is that right?
Yes, sir, we are. I'll pull up the date on my phone, but yeah, I think it's like it's whatever 24th maybe.
Yeah. The Alban is our local theater here.
Yeah, my previous movie, Mine 9, played there, and I had the Alban. If everybody ran a company like the Alban, we'd be much better off. What a great company they are.
Oh, they do such a great job there. My wife's on the board with Adam, who
Adam.
And yeah, I was going to tell you, Mine 9, love that one.
Yeah,
yeah, great job.
Adam's so easy to work with too. I mean, amazing.
Oh, he's incredible. Yeah, for a very small town theater, they do. You wouldn't know that it's a small town theater. They do a really good job. They've got a strong group of actors. Adam does a great job directing. He's a good actor. They do a terrific job, and they do screenings, so not terrible.
So we opened January 24th at Alban, and we play for 3 days.
Yeah, we'll be there. I'm assuming opening night, but at some point during that time, we'll
24, 25, 26.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah, my old theater teacher, Mrs. Miller, Eileen Miller, will be coming down. She lives in St. Albans now.
Really?
Cool.
Well, yeah, she's probably very familiar with the Alban then. Yeah, we'll have a good time with that. That'll be a fun little time because, the Alban, when I was growing up, it was just a movie theater. We'd come and see movies there, and they later turned it into kind of community theater. But it's a nice little seats. I don't know how many it seats, but it's got a nice little area there.
Yeah, and for the
built kind of like, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. Was it? Well, how many did you say it was?
What, 3 days at the Alban, but we're also going to be playing at the Marquee in Charleston. We opened January 10th at the Marquee in Charleston.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, I know you, Dave, you're not familiar with the area. Marquee in Charleston is probably our best theater. It's they upgraded it. It's more like closer to an IMAX, not an IMAX, but a little closer to that. Got the reclining seats and the heated seats and that stuff. We hadn't had this area too much, so it's pretty nice. That's a good one to have it at. Yeah, not too bad.
Nah, we're playing at most all of the marquee cinemas throughout the region, and for a filmmaker like myself, like we love the Marquee. Like they're another great company that opens up their doors to folks like myself.
That's right. That's right. Have you lined up streaming yet, or where it's going to go once it leaves the theaters?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's all coming. After it all how well we do in theaters dictates that.
Yeah. Davey, what's your role in the film? Who do you play?
So I play one of the town's local cops.
Yeah.
And he's tired of seeing his town fall victim to this scourge of drugs. And he's the type of person who feels deeply attached to where he's from. He doesn't want to leave. He's seen a lot of people leave, and he feels a sense of pride to the area, and he wants to help the town survive and move forward through time. I actually got chills thinking about it yesterday. I know you haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to give anything away, but
give it away.
Just the way that he he's really looking for the source. He sees the victims in his community, and the victims are not only the drug users, but the drug dealers as well, who are also users, because he understands that they're not the ones actually bringing the drugs in.
That's right.
So it's really haunting in the film, the way you see Alex's character, who is a father, connect tangentially to the father of a young woman who overdoses. And I think that my character, John, really sort of has the overview in some ways of recognizing that we're all part of the same community fabric and we're all being destroyed.
Right. Yeah, I really, to me, and again, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm going to this afternoon. The character development seems exactly on point. Like you're describing your character, that sounds to me like somebody that, it might be a local deputy that I would run into. That sounds like somebody that would live around here. And I totally get the sense of, kind of pride, not wanting to leave your home, your area, wanting to make things better for people that you grew up with and care about. I totally get that. And I think that's indicative of a lot of people in this area, in the Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio area. So great job. But am I right on that? Just from an actor side, character development, pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we just, when I showed up, I started making friends with all the local cops, and they took me on some ride-alongs, and I just tried to learn as much as I can, That's really how I approach a character is, you start out with yourself always. The way in is how you relate to someone, how you understand it from an internal place. But then I don't like to make any judgments about anything, and I like to be influenced by people I meet, things I read, things I see with my own eyes. And that goes for the accent in the film, the dialect, and just everything about the character. I mean, I want the character to be real and to live and breathe. Right. So I really just had a great time hanging out with the local cops, learning everything about the way that they do things, which is very different than any other jurisdiction I've ever seen. So that was a treat.
Yeah, I've always thought that a show around the police that we have kind of in Appalachia would be really good. It would do really well. So that doesn't surprise me because it is, I think, a little bit different. Oh, there's Alex. I thought he was trying to join.
Yeah, I do think you're very right about that, because any other shows that depict police officers, it's a completely different situation. I mean, You never see a show where the department has, 5-6 guys working for it, where they might not necessarily be able to make an arrest because it takes someone out of the town for such a long period of time that the town is then unprotected. So it's a very unique situation, and it's a very unique thing when the people that you're policing are your family and friends.
Well, that's right. People you grew up with that you've known your whole lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we had Alex for a second. There we go. There was Alex.
One of the things that when I first started writing this, and you would learn how these cops, like Dave's character, like they weren't trained for any type of undercover work or like these, trying to something at that scale. And they would literally like go to Radio Shack and buy cameras and put them up in places, and really just how any of us would actually do it because they weren't trained for it. And for Dave's character to, take on that type of undertaking, I always find that very fascinating because it's just people who love their communities.
Yeah, agree. And a lot of times they're doing it at their own expense. They're going out and they're getting cameras and stuff and putting and then worrying about how to pay for them later.
Yeah, and in a sense, and technically illegally, or extrajudicially, I should say.
Yeah. I think it's lack of funds is a big issue with our law enforcement, around these areas. But
Tell Alex, turn your phone 90 degrees.
You're sideways, Alex.
Yeah, this is like a comedy of errors right now. This is great.
That's probably the best.
I think I'm just gonna hold my phone, man. Hello, guys. I'm sorry I'm late. This was pretty short notice. How's all the weather right there? Is it pretty nuts?
We got a little bit of snow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're aware that our flights all got cancelled coming in to see you.
Oh yeah. We I said yesterday morning, I was talking with my wife, and I said, "There's no way those guys are getting in."
Yeah. Well, you were right. We'll be there though. We'll be there as soon as the storm clears. We'll be there.
Yeah. It's exciting. Alex, welcome. We've been talking about Hazard and what a great film it is, and just the uniqueness of having a film in this area depicting a problem that we have in this area. We've had other films that have depicted the issue more from the company side, but not the individual side. So it's a big deal for us to have a film showing an issue that all of us are dealing with, because you either know somebody or somebody that knows somebody that's had an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that drew me to the script. I think it is it's an exploration of these human stories, as opposed to kind of like, I think it's easy to, if you focus too much on the companies that are doing this in these regions, then it kind of like is a little bit dehumanizing to the human story that's actually going on within these communities.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I may be wrong, but that doesn't sound like a Kentucky accent to me.
Yes. Yeah. I'm from England, from London.
Oh, from London. Very good. My wife's in London quite a bit. She works for Live Nation, so she got teachers over there, so she's over quite a bit. I keep bugging her. I'm like, you could take your husband one time.
Yeah. She's living a second life over there.
That's right.
She's got a pretend accent and everything.
That's it. Totally different person.
So from London, half my family are from Hartlepool, which is up north. It's a mining town up north. So Margaret Thatcher closed all the mines, and all my uncles are miners. So, kind of having a little bit of this mining story as well. And after watching Mine 9, Eddie's last movie, it kind of, it's weird how things relate to Hartlepool, where half my family are from too. There's kind of similar issues going on.
Yeah, I never would have guessed that, but that's kind of neat. That's a neat connection. And we talked about Mine 9, great movie. Love that one. As soon as I got the note about Eddie wanting to come on the show, I knew who he was just from Mine 9, because we talked about that. They showed it here locally, and we got to see it. Alex, I think your female co-star is Susie. Is that right? Susie Bacon?
Sosie Bacon.
Sosie, yeah. She's terrific. I've enjoyed her in a lot of different shows.
Yeah, she's having a real moment right now. So we were lucky to have her in the movie. She's fantastic, really. She poured her heart into this one, so we're lucky.
What was the was there a difficulty in getting into this role? Because obviously very emotional role. You've got someone that's dealing with a lot of things that most people hopefully don't have to deal with. Was that difficult getting into the role? Slide right in.
Yeah. I mean, the script's, obviously great, and kind of, gives you the blueprint of the story. And then, I came out to I came out to Kentucky, a month early before we started shooting, and stayed there and went to NA meetings, and I really, it was important for me to best understand, to best be able to represent this story. And I'll never truly know what it is to be from Kentucky, and what it is to kind of have this this experience. But I hope by giving a voice to it in some capacity, people feel heard in some way.
Yeah. Well, Davey was talking about your dedication and showing up early and really immersing yourself in the role. And I think
Davey did a fair bit of that too.
Oh, I have no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell just by the way he was describing his character. I'm like, yeah, he knows the role.
Yeah, for real. He did a lot of work too. It was a good partnership, actually. I think between me, him, and Sosi, we were all pretty in it, which is really, which is when you're making more independent movies, you really get to do that, and they don't really work unless you do that, unless everyone really commits and goes full throttle at it.
Well, yeah, you can't really afford to have somebody that's not fully committed when you're doing it independently. Yeah,
right.
Waste that money.
Ideally, you want to be able to point the camera at people at any time and have that, and have that work and be usable.
Yeah, that's exactly right. How long a shoot was it?
Eddie, I'm gonna say 18 days, but I think it might have been less.
It was 18 days would have been wonderful. We had 15.
It sounds fast. I don't know, but that sounds fast.
In days, when you think about like in actual days of sunlight, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Yeah, that seems fast. Well, and just to that point, you got to have everybody ready to go. You don't have time to do a bunch of takes and everything. You got to get it going.
Right.
Totally. Correct.
Yeah. Eddie, I wanted to ask you about, I saw a note about the opioid crisis causing an increase in foster care. And I wanted to ask you about that, because that one's one I never thought about. But obviously, if you've got family members that are dying or going to jail or whatever it is, you're going to have children that are affected that may have to go into foster care.
Yeah, well, if you really look at it like in the early 2000s, whenever this hit, and even slightly before, the youth were the people, that generation was the people getting addicted, and now we're all parents.
That's right.
So, like if you're still addicted and now you're a parent, that's where that number falls. Like even in my county, the 2023 census in Wetzel County, we don't see the opioid issue like Southern West Virginia and Eastern Kentucky. But I believe, if I'm correct, it was 67% of kids under 18 do not live at home with their parents because their parents are addicted to opioids. Yeah. And I guess it's even higher in other areas. It's much higher than that. And to me, that's mind-boggling.
It's scary, and it makes you wonder, it's so important for kids to have, parental guidance. And there's some terrific foster parents out there, just wonderful. But that's not always the case. And I wonder about the long-term effects, on that generation that's growing up, in the foster system. What kind of effect is that going to have on them as they age?
Yeah, it's got to be just detrimental. I mean, it's sad. That storyline is in the movie. Like Will and Sarah have a child, and it's sort of, you can sort of guess what might end up happening to that child. Yeah.
Which is well, let me ask you that, because I'm very tenderhearted. How difficult is it for me to get through this movie? Is there scenes that I'm going to have trouble with?
I don't know. I don't know. We're not too sentimental. We're trying to be in your, from the addict's point of view. So it's more of a, hopefully like a scary straight movie in a way.
There's also, I feel like there's a lot of love in the movie too. And it's like, it's weirdly almost like part romance, part like survival story, you know. And it's like, and I think there's something, watching someone fight to survive and watching someone kind of like, love their family, even though it's in this like kind of difficult world. I feel like I feel like there's some things to take from it that aren't just like depressing,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of hope in the movie.
It's a love story. I mean, the entire movie is a movie built on love. Like Will's character and like everybody who's in his life is being affected by the addiction. So certainly Alex is right. Love is the core of it.
Yeah, I love that. Dave, you talked a little bit about being a police force in that town. What's your relationship with Alex's character? Does he know him before, let's say the time period during the movie? Were they?
Yeah, we're childhood friends. We played football together. He's the father of my sister's child.
Oh boy, yeah. So there's a lot of connections there. Which
slight spoiler alert, but it becomes pretty clear quite quickly.
Yeah. Well, and we talked a little bit earlier about the fact that we don't have a huge population in this area, so people tend to know everybody else in the area, or at least recognize them if they don't know them by name. So that makes sense to me. I assume there was a pretty good connection, and that a lot of the movie is about that relationship as well.
Sorry, Dave, I interrupted there. Keep going on that.
Oh no, it's all right. I'm just trying to think about how much of spoilers we're trying to save or give away right here.
I was thinking too that let's not do that again in other interviews.
Okay.
The strong arm of
in that case,
Eddie has spoken.
Eddie's
my
boss.
comment is finished.
Moving on. No. I think it sounds like it's that one becomes pretty obvious early on. That to me is very interesting to me, because I know people that are in law enforcement that have family members struggling with addiction and are having to deal with that, and have even been in those awkward positions where you have to police people that you're related to.
I mean, now the cat's out of the bag, we can kind of talk about that a little bit, right, Dave?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's not only the awkwardness of having to police someone you know and are potentially related to. It's having to police someone and potentially hold accountable, even if it's just in your own heart, someone you love, someone you deeply care about, who you consider family, if not by blood, if not by through an in-law or something like that, just by nature of the fact that you share the same town and community, and it's a small town, and that community is what you love and what drives you, which it is for my character. So that's incredibly difficult and a painful thing to do.
Yeah,
and we definitely definitely noticed that as well when we were there too. It's like the police have a lot more of a kind of a personal relationship with a lot of the people that are like dealing with drug addiction in this way, and that's a real interesting storyline. I feel like to follow.
Going to make Thanksgiving dinners kind of interesting.
Yeah, for real.
Well, I know, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. I know we got to wrap up. I think you got another one you got coming up, but I wanted to let's end this way, Eddie. What are you wanting people to come away with when they see this movie?
I want the people. So I want outsiders looking in, just to see that, like we get stereotyped as Appalachians. So it's nice for people on the outside looking in to have some compassion for us And then from an inner standpoint, I believe that us as Appalachians can look at people who are drug addicts and write them off as less than us. So I'm hoping that like we can see through their eyes and start to form some sort of compassion. So really, that's what I'm hoping, is just to spread a little bit of love through a dark path for somebody.
I love it. I love it. I wanted to mention before I let you guys go, I know you did some work on Sky High back in the day. I heard that they may be bringing it back.
Really? I worked on that movie for 2.5 years of my life. At least 2 years of my life.
Yeah, I saw they may be doing a reboot. So
they should. It's a good movie.
Yeah, not terrible. Eddie, so we've been over where we can see Hazard. It's coming through the area. It's going to be at the Marquee down in Huntington on the 10th, and then we're going to show it here in St. Albans, and then but later this week you're also in Hazard, right, or in that area.
Yeah, if weather permits and these guys can travel in, I mean, I'll be there either way. But we're going to go to Harlan, Kentucky, where we filmed, and do a community screening. And then we're going to go to Hazard, Kentucky, the namesake of the movie, and do a community screening. And then we're going to make our way to Louisville for a premiere on the 10th. And then I will be backtracking myself into West Virginia to try to do some of these Q&As that we never got to do in Logan and Huntington.
That's right. That's right. Terrific. Yeah, that's terrific. Where can we find out about the movie, and where can we find you on social media?
Social media and the website are the same. It's hazardthemovie.com. And our theatrical listings and dates are all on there as well.
Terrific. Davey, where can we find you on social media?
My Instagram is random mayhem with one M in the middle.
Nice.
I can't say I'm super active, but I just hope people keep watching and support the film. And I just, I personally have lost too many friends to drug addiction. So regardless, as much as it was a total pleasure and joy to learn about this community, this is a conversation that needs to happen everywhere.
Yeah, agree. Anything you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
No, right now I'm just focused on Hazard. Right now, this is what's exciting me the most.
Yeah, awesome. I'm hopeful at some point get to see you and the gang, for one of these premieres. We'll see. Maybe we can catch you somewhere. We'll see.
Absolutely, and thank you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's terrific to meet you, Alex. I'm so glad you made it.
Yeah, I know. Thanks for having us on. All of these time zone differences.
You probably didn't even get breakfast this morning.
Have not eaten breakfast yet. No. Yeah.
Where can we find you on social media, Alex?
My Instagram is Alex M Roe, but I'm kind of like Dave. I'm not super active on there, but I've got a show, Billy the Kid, that comes out next year. The third season starts next year, and then
been loving you as Pat.
Huh?
Been loving you as Pat.
Oh man, that's what this mustache is for.
I knew.
Yeah, I have to grow it myself, so it takes several years.
Hey, I'm jealous because I can't get mine to come in that thick.
Yeah, I'm excited for people to watch the movie. Thanks for interviewing us, and hopefully we see you at one of these screenings. I hope people come out and check it out.
Yeah, it's been terrific. Thank you, Eddie. Thanks to you, Alex, to you, Davey. It's been great, and best of luck. I know it's going to do well, and I know that the community Appalachia is going to support you. It's going to do great. And the next time any of you get something ready to come out, holler at me. We'll do it again.
All right, sweet.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Michael.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Hey, boys.
Really enjoyed that one. Hope you did as well. The movie is Hazard. It's coming out on the 10th. Please do yourself a favor. Do Eddie a favor. Do me a favor. Go and watch and support this movie. I think it's one of those movies that's that's important. I think it's just very important to support. So please do that. So I'm operating today in my wife's office here at the house. I couldn't get out to get to the studio, which is less than 5 minutes away. I probably could have walked there, but it's like 20 degrees out, so I didn't really relish a 20-minute walk. So I did it here at the house. So what you're going to notice, is because she has two of the biggest monitors side by side. So I've got, normally I see myself, I'm on my laptop, but now I'm on these two huge monitors with a camera that, instead of coming out of my laptop, sits on top of one of the monitors. I have no idea where to look. So if you're watching this interview and you're watching me kind of looking around and trying to figure out where the center is, that's why. On the plus side, her camera is a little better than mine. That's a pretty good picture. Not terrible. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again with us this week. Today we're going to put out episode 886. I mean, we are on the verge of 900. Been doing this for a little while, but we would never have got to 900 if it wasn't for your support. When Brett, my son, and I started this podcast, we just wanted to spend time with each other. We didn't really care if anybody was listening or watching, but you did. You did, and very quickly, we cared about having people watch, and we have tried over the last several years to really improve the quality of what we're putting out there, to be consistent with our episodes. We normally put out about 4 episodes a week. We've been a little slower through the holidays, but normally about 4 a week, which is pretty high volume. Not easy to do, but we've done that because of the support from our listeners and our viewers. So thank you so much. If you're finding us for the first time, so happy that you're here and would love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's just a couple of easy ways to do it. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Really helps us out. It's free. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find almost 900 episodes, audio and video versions. It'll let you know if we're doing anything in studio like we were today. We're supposed to do this interview live. If we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, if we're going to see Hazard at a premiere, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. And lastly, I'll mention IMDb, which is the entertainment database, named us a top 100 podcast. There's 15 or 20 million podcasts out there, and it grows daily to be named to anybody's top 100 list. Pretty amazing. We're thrilled to death. If you go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, it'll tell you every single person that we've had on the podcast. There's almost 1,000 of them. I would put our guest list up against any other talk show, podcast, anything. I'm just thrilled to death with the people we've had on this show. But it'll list all those there, and just pulling up the page helps us out, just having that traffic on the page. Thank you guys so much. Please support Hazard. Please support our local New Martinsville native, Eddie Mensore. This, he put out a movie, Mine 9. If you can find that one, it's terrific, and I'm sure that Hazard will be just as good, if not better. I'm so impressed with the actors he had on there. It's going to be terrific. So please put your support behind Hazard. Thank you guys so much. Till next time, stay warm. Bye, everybody.